What's up, everybody? This is well, you know who it is. It's Styles Major. I'm just checking in, guys, because I feel like I don't talk to you guys enough. This is something that I've been wanting to do, that I've been wanting to do for a while, is to start doing just simple little video vlogs. For you guys who are watching, and for the future people who are gonna watch this. I feel like a lot of you guys know my music. You know bits and pieces about my life. But I have yet to make a video, that kind of tells you, my story, with life. And basically, I started, when I was born. I mean, from my earliest memories, I remember hearing just automatically kind of just having like a sense of purpose towards music. I wasn't aware of it, but obviously when I was young, I couldn't comprehend it when I was young. But I was, my grandparents, Sonny Simmons and Barbara Donald, were very known and prominent in the jazz scene, and in like the '60s through the 80s and things of that nature. And we're pretty famous in that scene. Obviously, as a kid, I wasn't really interested in jazz, you know what I mean? But my dad was a drummer. My older brother, Tony Sway, you guys know him. He was a piano player. Both of my sisters sing and make music. So it's kind of something that has just been in our family. So how I kind of knew that music was for me is, I just remember I would hear songs and I would just, remember them. Some of my earliest memories were having like a little red cassette tape player or whatever, CD player, I don't know what it was. And it was a single that my mom bought me. Like, I remember going to the store, I was maybe 4 or 5 years old, and it was to the Coolio song, Gangster's Paradise. So all you young people, you might not know that song unless you guys are into old school, rap music. But yeah, and that was kind of like the first hip hop song that really took me by storm. And I would carry that tape player and I would like rap on it. Like, I memorized it. And I remember going to school and I was like the only kid who did that. And I just thought that was odd. I'm like, man. So anyways, and then my older brother was big into me finding music, because he was a hoarder of music. He had every single CD in the hip hop, R&B, and rap genre that you can imagine in the in the 90s. And he would always put me on to, a lot of old school rappers and new school rappers. Obviously at the time when I'm 6, 7 years old, 5 to 7, Tupac, Notorious Big, Bone Thugs and Harmony, and there was this one summer, I remember my brother had went away. I think he was, went away for like a couple weeks, and I would snuck in his room and I would listen to all the CDs. And the one artist that really particularly that stood out to me was Tupac. And I remember a specific song, and it was multiple songs that really stood out to me. And I remember being 7 years old, and it was kind of odd. And I told myself, I said, I want to be an artist. This is what I want to do. And I remember, posting photos of like Master P and No Limit and Bone Thugs and Harmony and Tupac on my wall, and telling people in school that I was gonna have a hit album one day. And it was all this funny stuff that, I mean, I guess other kids do that. I don't know. For me, that was just my thing. So I'm one of those people, like, I was blessed enough. I kind of knew what I wanted to do with my life at a very, very young age. And so it just went from there, I got really deep into Bone Thugs and Harmony as a kid. I was heavy into rap when I was like 7 to 10 was huge Bone Thugs and Harmony. And then from 10 to 14, I went through a phase where I really loved a lot of metal music and things like that, like Deftones, Linkin Park, and in these times in my life were not the easiest times. Unfortunately, my father was a very talented drummer, but he battled addiction and with alcohol and being in and out of prison as a kid. So he was kind of off and on. There was a lot of turbulence at the home, a lot of violence, a lot of bad people sometimes around. But I was just a kid. I wasn't necessarily aware, but that's why you guys hear a lot of inspiration, a lot of pain in my music, because I experienced a lot of things and at a young age, and I've seen a lot of things. And maybe some of you guys can relate to that. And it kind of made me who I am. I had to overcome a lot, you know what I mean? And we didn't have much money, at least for the first 10 years of my life. But what I did have was music, and me and my siblings, we all love music, and that's just kind of what we did. You know, I started recording albums and stuff like on tape cassettes and all that when I was young, with karaoke machines, and my brother would play beats. You know, we still do it to this day. My new single, Take Me Away, you know, me and him made that together. So it's kind of funny how, you know, after all these years, I'm 29 years old, we're still doing it. And that might be my best song to date. It's getting a lot of great feedback, you know, and that's just what it's been. And yeah, so that's just kind of been my life, and that's just been the thing. So I went through that phase with the music, and you know, it wasn't until I was about 15 years old that I really started taking music serious. I was watching movies like Hustle and Flow and 8 Mile, and they really inspired me. And yeah, I started going hard and started recording at home. Just started basic and making tons of songs, and I started doing a bunch of shows, and that's kind of how I knew what I wanted to do. And then there was a progression from 20 to where I'm at now, where I was trying to find my voice. I used to not be able to sing that well. Now I sing a lot. I went through a phase in those years where I produced a lot of records. I'm gonna switch this here because my hand's getting tired. But yeah, I went through a phase where I started producing. From like 19 to 25, I produced a lot of songs, and then that was kind of the progression. You know, there was a lot of hard times. I did skip a part. You know, my mom split from my dad around 10 years old, and then she was able to get a good state job. So then we went from being poor to being like a middle class family. We moved into a home, a good neighborhood, and that's when my life kind of got better. And that's what I started to see, that, you know, you can change. So I always owe my respect and love for my mom for showing us that, because she could have went down the lane of a lot of other people and gave up. You know what I mean? She didn't. She always, you know, I don't remember her ever missing a day of work. Always took us to practices, to school, and always looked out for us, did the best she can. So if it wasn't for her, I don't think I would be who I am at all, because I have that same mentality, is that she showed me that you can come from nothing and makes nothing out of something. And that was kind of our life as a kid, as I had to overcome a lot. And yeah, so those years, you know, when we started living better, you know, I used to skateboard a lot, and everything was all good. And back then, you know, I was just listening to a lot of Linkin Park and Deftones and Eminem and stuff like that, 50 Cent. And then, yeah, so we go back and towards when I was high school, I started rapping. And then I just went crazy with it. You know, back then I was a football player too. You know, I was an all-league football player. He was a captain of my football team, and I took football very seriously. I was trying to make it. I was trying to get a scholarship. Inevitably, I didn't get a D1 scholarship, and so I went to a JC. And I always tell people the story. I was driving on the bus, and I had my recording gear with me. And a week prior, I was hanging out with my brother in Portland with one of our close friends, and we made some songs. And I took those songs back home, and my friends were listening to them, and they're like, "Dude, this is really good." And then at that point, I started thinking, like, man, maybe I really could make something out of this music career. And I remember going on that bus, and something didn't seem right. It was almost like I didn't want to play football anymore. And I got down there for a week, and I was like, screw this. I'm done with football. And I literally, like, I think it was a matter of like a couple days. I was like, Mom, could you get me out of here? And so my twin sister, Michelle, wired me some money. And I went home, and I always tell people the story. And that's why I believe in the universe and the gifts from up above is I had this feeling. I remember I had a Greyhound. You know, I was out in Northern California, the Timbuktu, Weed, California, like the Timbuktu, you know, the country of Cali, where there's nothing there. No wonder I didn't want to be there. But no, really, if I really wanted to keep playing football, I would have done it. But I wanted music, and I think I always wanted music. And we were on that bus, and I just remember like looking to the sky, and it was like this weird connection I had with nature, and it was like something, like some voice. I tell people it was weird, and it was just like, you're doing the right thing. Focus on music. This is your path. This is your destiny. And ever since then, you know, I changed my name from Young Seven to Styles Major. I came up with that name. It basically means creating, you know, one style of all the genres and songs and artists that influenced me. You know, if you listen to my music, you hear all types of stuff, and a lot of artists these days are like that, you know. And yeah, and I never looked back and then from there, you know, it was just growth and growing and grinding and putting out these songs, and you know, and until I hit a rough patch, you know. I was working a menial job from like 20. like, I'll say 20 to 25. My music wasn't really go where I wanted. I was still grinding, was living at home with my mom still. She lost her state job and she was struggling a little bit. And it was just tough times, and in between those years, I had 2 really tough breakups with 2 girls that I was in love with. And you hear songs like All of Me and stuff like that that are about that. And I was just in a dark place and for a couple years. Not all, just probably around 24, 25. And I started drinking alcohol. And, I never thought that I would have ever had a problem with that. But I started drinking regularly, just suppressing, I hated my situation, and at that time, and I hated that my career wasn't where it's at. And, but I started picking up books and I started reading books on success and how to really formulate it. And I was able to kind of dig myself. I think one of the first books, it was like some Tony Robbins books, and things of that nature, books like that, just to kind of get me out of the dumps. And Robert Greene was a great, 40 Laws of Power, stuff like that. And it kind of made me realize that I could come out of this. And I always tell people, information and knowledge is power. And especially when you're in dire situations, and the education system doesn't really give you a lot. And I didn't really have many mentors around me at the time that were really giving me any information on how to really rise above. And I took those and I told myself, this was like I was 24. I was like, I'm going to figure out a way to make money off music. And I quit my job and I lived off credit cards for 2 months. And I figured out a way to make money off music. My YouTube blew up. A lot of you guys knew that. Me and my brother's song Dreams got picked up by a huge Brazilian TV show. I call them a novel or something. We never saw it coming. We were just promoting our music heavy on YouTube. And it happened, and we signed a deal, and the song ended up doing 14 million views on our end, and then it did additional 5 million views on their end. I had friends hit me up like, yo, I saw you on like TV, because some of my friends are like, Brazilian or Mexican, and they were subscribed to certain channels, and I was like, that's crazy. They're like, dude, I couldn't believe it. So that happened, and I love the Brazilian fans. If you guys are watching, thank you guys so much for your support. It was such a blessing, and the song went top 20 in Brazil for a multitude of months, and really what that was, more than making any money or anything, was the first time in my life I felt like the dreams that I had as a kid were coming alive. Like, I remember me and my brother and Louis Sierra, who was a long-term friend who directed that video. I remember us filming it, and I felt like they probably thought I was tripping or something, but I was like, you guys, I'm telling you, this video is going to get 1 million views. I don't know how, but when me and my brother filmed the song, and God, someone's trying to message me. Me and my brother filmed the song and recorded the song in San Francisco. And it was on the last day when I was there, because he had moved from Washington, where I'm from, Lacey, Washington, to San Francisco. And that area, like Benicia. And we were there, and it was the last day, and he was like, come on, man, let's record. I'm like, okay. And then he made this beat. When me and him get in the studio, he knows what I like, and he played this rhythm, and I wrote the song. I wrote the whole song. He did the beat, and he engineered it, and we wrote it, probably finished it in a couple hours, and he mastered the beat and everything, and we released it, and we shot a video for it, and then the rest is history, and the song till this day, it's touched millions of lives. Look the song up, Styles Major Dreams, if you don't know it. It was the first song that blew up for us. And that kind of just gave me the confidence, that, damn, I could do something. And then other things happened, like NBA, this really high executive in the NBA reached out and was going to release one of my songs. It fell through, but it was just like all these things back to back happening to make me believe even more and more in myself. And yeah, but with success, there always comes a dark side. And I made some money for the first time in my life. And, I still didn't deal with some of the demons I was dealing with. And I kept drinking, I kept partying, and I got in trouble. And I got in trouble with the law for driving reckless, and had to do a little, like a day, a little bit of time in jail for the first time in my life. And, there was always crossroads in life. And I was like, I got to figure this out, So, I decided to rededicate myself to music. This was like around 26, 27, and everything was going good. Got myself back in great shape. Music was going well. I stopped drinking, stopped partying. And then boom, life hits you, I lost my aunt around 24 to 25. And that really hurt me. She was, you know, my dad's sister, and she helped raise us. Like, she was just in the family, you know. She was really close. She was a beautiful singer, and she, you know, she was there for us, and she just, you know, fell into drug addiction with pills. It somehow got her, and she passed away, and that really messed me up, you know. And then it was just like a series. I never dealt with really anyone dying in my family, and from 23 to 29, lost 6-7 close family members, you know. And then, you know, the one that really really shocked me again was my uncle died. He was only 49. He was a successful guy. He was a kind of the leader around here, our family, for men, because my dad wasn't around as much, and so he kind of was my example of how to be. And he was a great dude, and you know, he passed away, and that really hurt, not, you know, the whole family, and definitely hurt me. I didn't realize how important he was into my life, and you know, I went through, I fell back in. You know, I had been sober for 7 months. I was, you know, doing well, and I started drinking again, and just was in a deep depression. And then I got over that, you know, and then literally a year later, my grandmother dies, my German grandmother, who was there for us. She was that grandma who was always there, you know. And then she passed away, and that really, you know. And then prior to that, my other grandma, my dad's side grandma, who I wasn't as close to, she passed away. And then, you know, then my close grandma passed away that I was really close to, and you know, that really, you know, hurt the whole family, and it just spiraled me into another thing, you know. And then the icing on the cake was, you know, last summer I was doing well again, and doing well and grinding, and my twin sister, who was really close to, I check her out. Their YouTube channel, it's called Meet the Garraways, and her and her husband, who you know, was a good friend of mine before they even got married. They lost their son. You know, they have 3 awesome girls, and they had a child in the NICU, and it passed away. And you know, that one really messed me up, messed all of us up, especially me, the men in the family. And because, you know, I was looking forward to help raise, you know, my nephew, and along with his father, to, you know, to be a great man, because I didn't really have that guidance, you know. I had my uncle, which was great, but I kind of wanted to be that uncle, to be there. And that put me in a really, really dark path, and I started partying again, just trying to forget. I put on a bunch of weight, started, you know, and it was just a dark time, and I really was questioning the existence of life. You know, I didn't want to hurt myself or anything, but I really questioned, like, I just didn't care about life. You know, if I passed away, I was like, whatever, because I'm like, if God's going to take all these people from me, you know, and then it was like, it's like, then whatever, you know. But I found meaning in it, you know. After a while, we grieved and dealt with it, and I found meaning that, you know, these things all happen for a reason, and I have to live in these people's honor, my family members' honor, because these just weren't my family members. These are really, really close family members, you know, that had a huge impact on my life. And I told myself, you know, I'm gonna, you know, I'm gonna live in their honor, and I've been doing that since then, and I have a new profound motivation. I've grieved the feelings, you guys, and, you know, a lot of you guys know my song Goodbye for Now, and it's helped and touched hundreds of thousands of people. The comments I get on that video are amazing, and that's what it's all about, you guys. You know, the things that hit us in life, it's about finding meaning in those moments, and I found meaning in losing, you know, my family members, to live in their honor, and to make, you know, to do them right by living the right life, and changing my ways, and continuing to do the good things I was doing. So that's kind of where I'm at now, you guys. I'm on a whole new purpose, and you know, I just want to connect more with you guys, and share, you know, so you guys can get to know me really for who I am. And that's kind of just my life story in a nutshell, you know. And I'm really motivated right now, and I'm just going to continue to make the music, and I'm going to put it out, and I'm going to vlog. So thank you guys for watching this. Down below, please follow me on Instagram, and follow my Spotify account if you're on Spotify, so you can stay updated with everything I'm doing. And I want you guys to leave a comment in the bottom, and just kind of, if you know my music, if you're a real fan, like, let me know what songs of mine have really helped you. And also, you know, tell me something about your life that I should know, you know, and that'd be cool, you know. And you know, I need you guys' support, you know. The more you can share my songs, however you can do it, let people know about me, I appreciate it, you know what I mean. So with that said, I'm gonna get off here. I thank you guys for every single one of you who stayed and watched this to the end. Now you know a little bit more about me. Thank you.